A dangerous game, psychological thriller story based on real-life incidents. Author, Dr. Nisha Shastri.
We have searched the entire house, but nothing seems to have been stolen, said ASI Kamal. Alright, then how did these two get murdered so brutally? Inspector Pradyumna asked, looking at the two corpses. The bodies of a couple were lying there. The man was probably around 50 years old, and his wife was likely about 45. Both had been killed with a sharp-edged weapon, possibly a knife. Sir, did you notice one thing? Kamal said. Yes. There is a difference in how the man and the woman were murdered, Inspector Pradyumna replied. Absolutely, sir. The woman was given what one might call a respectful death. Her throat was slit, and she died. But the man. Kamal was about to complete his sentence when Pradyumna interjected. His genitals were cut off, his eyes gouged out, and a knife was inserted into his anus and twisted. This proves that whoever killed the man derived a kind of enjoyment from his suffering, Pradyumna concluded. Yes, sir. Not only that, but the man was found naked while the woman was not. This indicates that the perpetrator first killed the woman and then subjected the man to fulfill a sexual fantasy through such brutal treatment, Kamal added. Yes, Kamal, Pradyumna agreed. He then leaned down, opened the man's eyes, and said, Look at this, Kamal. His eyes suggest he was administered a large dose of some drug. Kamal examined both the man's and the woman's eyes closely. Sir, it seems the woman was also drugged. Pradyumna checked the woman's eyes as well. Alright, send these bodies for post-mortem. But sir, what could be the motive for these murders? I'm not sure, Kamal. This New Jalana area is not particularly affluent. Most people here barely have one-bedroom homes. And nothing has been stolen from this house. It could be a case of personal enmity. Someone hated this man so much that they stripped him, mutilated his genitals, gouged his eyes, and twisted a knife inside his rectum, causing severe injury to his anal nerves. Sir, such a heinous crime could only be committed by someone with either a deep personal grudge or a psychological killer, Pradyumna completed the thought. Both were lost in their thoughts, wondering if a serial killer had entered their city, a killer who inflicted such horrifying deaths on men. Although this was the first such incident, Pradyumna and Kamal realized they needed to brace themselves because another, even more horrific crime might soon occur. Outside, a crowd of media personnel had gathered. They were reporting the incident in their own speculative ways. Pradyumna and Kamal stepped out to address the media. We request you all not to spread misleading news, Pradyumna said. One reporter retorted, Sir, if the police don't provide an official statement, what else are we supposed to do? It's been nearly 2 hours since the murders. And you expect us to solve the case in 2 hours? Pradyumna replied angrily. You won't solve it even in 2 years. But at least give an official statement, another reporter quipped. Both Pradyumna and Kamal were furious. What do you people want from us? 2 murders have taken place, and we are still investigating, Pradyumna said sternly. Sir, who are these 2 victims? What's the murder weapon? What's the modus operandi? Was this a robbery or something else? We noticed the man's body was naked while the woman's wasn't. Why is that? Please provide an official statement on these questions. Listen, don't interfere with police work, Pradyumna replied, struggling to find the right words to placate them. Sir, give us an official statement, one reporter demanded angrily. Pradyumna and Kamal retreated inside. Other officers focused on barricading the house to keep the media away. Frustrated, the reporters began broadcasting speculative news. One of these reports suggested that a psychotic killer was on the loose, capable of giving anyone a torturous death. It was this news that Ramesh's wife saw, prompting her to call her husband. The report aired around midnight, and she called Ramesh at 1 a.m. Pradyumna and Kamal were not only distressed by the gruesome murders, but also by how the media sensationalized the case. Come inside, I'll tell you, Ramesh said. He gestured for his wife and the girl to come inside. They all entered the house. Give her one of your gowns, Ramesh told his wife. Reluctantly, his wife brought a gown and handed it to the girl. The bathroom is attached to our bedroom. You can change there and wash your hands and feet. I'll see if there's something to eat or drink, Ramesh said politely. Okay, thank you, the girl replied, taking the gown from Ramesh's wife and heading to the bedroom. Ramesh's house was a small one-bedroom unit. They were currently in the living room, while the girl went into the bedroom, where their son, Buntai, was sleeping. Who is she? Ramesh's wife asked in a stern tone. Oh, my wife, I found her in the Nijalana area. What? That's where the murder happened. Yes, those 3 thugs killed her parents. They attempted to assault her, but she managed to escape by killing one of them. She somehow reached near my car. And you brought this trouble home? I told you to come straight home quietly. What else could I do? Should I have left her to die at the hands of those thugs? And what will we do with her now? Do we have money growing on trees? Ramesh's wife shouted angrily. Calm down. I'll take her to the police station tomorrow morning, Ramesh assured his wife. His wife stormed off into the bedroom in anger. She lay down on the bed, trying to sleep. Meanwhile, the girl, now dressed in the gown, washed her face and hands, and came out to the living room where Ramesh was. I don't need food or drink. I'll sleep here, she said, pointing to the sofa. All right, it's late. You should rest. We'll talk tomorrow, Ramesh replied and went to his bedroom, closing the door behind him. The girl lay down on the sofa. A little while later, Ramesh opened the door and asked, What's your name? Shweta, she replied. That suits you. You're fairer than fair, Ramesh remarked. Shweta blushed a little. Good night, she said in a sweet tone and lay down on the sofa. Good night, Ramesh said, stealing one more glance at her before going back to his wife. He lay down beside her, but sleep eluded him. He looked at his wife, dark-skinned and chubby, with average features, like many women seen in every neighborhood. But Shweta was one in a million. As the night wore on, Ramesh couldn't stop thinking about Shweta. The image of her lying in his car, her body partially exposed, kept replaying in his mind. By 3 a.m., though Shweta was now dressed in the gown, Ramesh wanted to see her again. Quietly, he got up from his bed and tiptoed out of the bedroom. When he reached the living room, he was shocked. Shweta was completely naked, lying on the sofa. She had removed the gown. Ramesh was dumbfounded. Just then, Shweta spoke, Lock your bedroom door from the outside and come here to the sofa. Overcome by lust, Ramesh couldn't tell if this was a dream or reality. He locked the bedroom door from the outside, trapping his wife and son inside, and approached Shweta. Take off your clothes, Shweta commanded. Under her spell, Ramesh immediately stripped. He climbed onto the sofa with her. But before he could process what was happening, a knife stabbed into his anal area with great force. He cried out in pain. Before he could react further, a knife pierced his eye. He screamed in agony. His wife and son woke up, banging on the locked door. Meanwhile, Shweta plunged the knife into Ramesh's other eye. Ramesh couldn't see the expression of delight on her face as she watched him suffer. Holding his bleeding eyes, Ramesh was helpless as Shweta inflicted a deep cut on his genitals with the knife, followed by severing his testicles. He fell to the ground, writhing in pain. Shweta then slashed his neck multiple times, causing a fountain of blood to gush out. She laughed hysterically. Ramesh's wife was banging on the door. Shweta opened it and, before his wife could comprehend the situation, attacked her neck with a knife, leaving her lifeless on the floor. Ramesh's lust had destroyed him completely. Pradyuman and Kamal had just reached their police station when they were called to Ramesh's house. They arrived to find Ramesh, his wife, and their son Buntai brutally murdered. Who was this crazy girl, Shweta? Why did she kill Ramesh in such a gruesome manner? And would the police be able to catch her?